papanicholas.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't know if I'll ever come back. It's was bullet casing night at the G-Spot on Friday. 2 women shot in the stands, as you know. Here's an eyewitness named Tom Miller. Here's what he saw. Tom Miller, excuse me. Here's what he saw.
It happened just 2 rows in front of me, and there was no one right in front of us. All of a sudden, this lady just started bleeding from her leg, and there was at least 2 of them in a row that got hit, maybe a third. I know 2 for sure, and it was bleeding, and all of a sudden security was there, and they kicked us out.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody got a nice souvenir that night. If you didn't get a foul ball, maybe at least get
a shell casing.
Yeah, and we read the text of a woman who said she was the one who was hit by the bullet but uninjured. Yeah. After it had hit 2 other people, the magic bullet, and she was holding it out in her hand in a text that she sent to a friend.
A 42-year-old woman was shot in the leg, taken to University of Chicago, non-life-threatening injuries, and a 26-year-old woman suffered a graze wound to the abdomen, but she refused medical treatment.
We'll ask John Catanzara what he knows about that, because there's a theory being bandied about. I want to get his reaction too. But something else. Number 17. This is the CWB Chicago series. Prosecutors say a man on bail for illegally possessing a machine gun shot 5 people and accidentally shot one of his accomplices during a drive-by on Chicago's West Side last month. This individual is the 17th person accused of shooting, killing, or trying to shoot or kill someone in Chicago while awaiting trial for a felony. The cases involve at least 28 victims, 9 of whom who died. And we've had dozens and dozens of cases like this over the last years. You restart the count every year, at least CWB Chicago does in this series, upon which they report illegally possessing a machine gun and then shot 5 people and one of his accomplices.
I mean, what did they think was going to happen?
So here again, these are the same people, number one, who are always running around talking about getting tough on gun crime. Number 2, are cheering Harrison Floyd being held without bond in Fulton County because of these dubious RICO charges, who, by the way, is Chicagoan. It's just astounding. A machine gun, he shoots 5, he's bonded out, and he shoots 5 people. And, of course, we know that come next month, you won't even have to worry about the question of bond because of the Safety Act.
Because bond's going to go away.
I want to start there with John Catanzara. He's the president of the Chicago FOP. John, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Morning, Dan and Amy.
So with respect to the state's attorney, let's start with that end of the justice system. The Cook County Democrat Socialists, per Tony Preckwinkle, recently basically slated Clayton Harris to replace Kim Foxx in next year's election. Now, he's being challenged in the Dem primary by a judge named Eileen O'Neill Burke. I think she's Irish. But Clayton Harris, is this going to be, I assume with Preckwinkle's stamp of approval, is this going to be an extension of Kim Foxx in the state's attorney's office?
Well, our research shows that he might be slightly better for what that's worth, but I wouldn't say count the Irish lady out yet. Or who knows who else pops up. We got a long way to go. We certainly are going to take that race as seriously as the teachers did the mayor's race. I think it's even, in many respects, much more important.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
is there a candidate right now that you are hoping for?
Well, we're going to see who garnered signatures as of yet, but no.
Yeah, it's just, as you well know, if Clayton Harris has the backing of the party, then that means the public sector unions will be out in force for him, and so on and so forth. So he's obviously got an inside track in that
Well,
primary, and thus the general.
to a degree, but I think even the trade unions understand that safety has a direct correlation to tax dollars, which translates to their contracts and their projects. So I think we may see a little easing of that blind following, so to speak, and whatever gets rubber stamped.
Well, the trade unions are with Vallis too, to no great effect. I mean, that's the problem. It's SCIU, AFSCME, and the teachers that matter.
For now.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with BLM Brandon? He just passed 100 days. How are you guys getting on?
Oh, we have dinner every other Wednesday.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. All right.
Table for two.
Did you guys go Dutch, or do you just alternate who pays, or?
We go on a payment plan.
Yeah. So what I mean, I know that there was a point of contention because they gave CTU, well, the mayor who is CTU, let them have 12 weeks of paternity leave for the mom and the dad, and you guys are still fighting for that.
Yeah, I think we're going to be coming out the other end of the tunnel on that one, unfortunately, because other bargaining units have already kind of succumbed to Lightfoot's pressure. It put us in kind of a pickle with the arbitrator, and comparables are pretty frequently the deciding factor. And the fact that the PVPA accepted the use of medical time towards that leave really put us in a bad spot. So,
what else are you guys? With Amendment 1 passing last year, are you guys going to push for a lifting of the residency requirement? Are you going to push for a right to strike?
Well, I don't think the right to strike would ever be a reality. And I'd say the majority of our membership understand why. It certainly would be a leverage tool. And even the arbitrator highlighted the fact that this process has gone on so long, and if we did have the ability to strike, this contract would have been finished long ago, but for the fact that the city can drag its feet as much as it wants.
Right.
The residency thing, we've pitched this for several years now, about letting at least the 20-year officers who could walk away tomorrow lift the residency on them. Let them go start the next phase of their life while they stay in this job a little bit longer, because we need to keep officers in the seats as long as possible. It's met with increasing skepticism and resistance, but it's a pretty simple concept to understand. Unfortunately, it's the city.
Well, but outside of the negotiating table, I mean, it seems to me that one of the things that Brandon Johnson has done so far that's smart, perhaps the only thing, is that he's really not been running around like a celebutant the way that Triple Threat was out of the gate. So a little bit lower profile. And I wonder if maybe when the cameras are not turned on or he's not in front of the CTU apparatchiks, he's a little bit more rational and you can have reasonable conversations with him. I mean, I really do want to know like what your relationship is, if there is one at this point.
No, it's just through his obviously mouthpieces for the most part. But my fear has always been they're going to play nice until the convention's here, because they don't want an embarrassment before that happens. And then once the convention's gone, I think then we'll really get to see what the real Brandon Johnson policies look like. Let's hope by then the reality of a new superintendent who will call balls and strikes and kind of explain to them the reality on the street doesn't really meet the rhetoric a lot of the times.
And you're happy with his choice, right, for Larry Snelling?
Oh, absolutely. We were pushing for it to be an insider. I think it really had to be at this point, and he's got a great reputation. Nobody's ever perfect. There's certainly going to be some people who think that a twice merit person shouldn't be the superintendent, but my point has been, look at what he's done with those two merit promotions. He has been a poster child in many respects of use of force. He looks like a cop. He stands up for officers, and especially since at least I've been a president, the tragic shootings that our officers have been in, of all the exempt ranks, Larry's been the guy who tries to gather the troops outside the hospital, talk to them, calm them down, and let them know that we're all here for each other. Nobody else has done that. To the level Larry has done that. So big kudos for that.
Okay. Murders are slightly down year over year, which isn't saying much, but a lot of other violent crimes, carjackings, armed robberies are up. I read that the Chicago police busted one of these professional robbery rings, theft rings, but there are a couple others that are still out there. Can you give us any sort of perspective on these, organized criminal theft rings?
Well, it's funny you should say that because I was just having a conversation with a ranking Democrat in this state, and I won't say a name, but the ironic part was they were talking about the statute for raising the penalties on these criminal enterprises, and the pushback they got was, yes, but that'll send more black people to jail, won't it?
Oh my
And
gosh.
the response was, yes, but they're criminals. So that's the ever-increasing mindset of who cares what they did. This is all about optics, percentages, and equality, apparently, in the prison population, no matter what the offense. It's just bizarre, but that's where we're at.
Well, just this morning, a TV news crew, I heard it was CBS, they were robbed at gunpoint, listen to this, while reporting on the latest wave of armed robberies. They were reporting on 30 robberies in 12 hours in the Bucktown Wicker Park. They were parked on 1200 North Milwaukee, and two black men masked went up and stole, I heard, their camera and then their personal belongings. Have they any any arrests made in that?
Not that I'm aware of. It was a pretty busy weekend for that, especially up in the north side of the city.
Yeah.
These crews, I'm sure the detectives have some pretty solid leads. There's certainly enough description and vehicle information that I'm sure that they're certain they have a pretty good idea who they're looking for.
Well, a friend of mine got robbed at gunpoint on Sunday afternoon at 3 in the afternoon. Apparently, I think they followed her home from the bank. That's what I think, because she had just taken money out. And you know what they told her, John? They pointed a gun to her head and they said, "Don't cry." And then she almost started crying, like, "Don't cry. We told you not to cry. Just give us the money." And then she did, and then they left.
I mean, they really think this is a game of Grand Theft Auto, where literally there are no victims, apparently, and there's no really consequences for their behavior. But that's why the state's attorney's race is so important, and the judges' retention issues, too, because we're going to concentrate on both of those big time next November.
Yeah, Southside, too. Five armed robberies within 11 minutes in Hyde Park and Kenwood. University of Chicago, they send an alert out to its campus community. Yeah, right. Personnel is policy, folks. The White Sox, the shooting at the G spot there at the
Tell
White
them your
Sox.
theory.
So this theory's, it's not mine. It's being bandied about that one of the women smuggled a gun into the stadium in one of her fat folds, which is how it went undetected. And then either she got into an argument or it dropped and it went off, shot her in the leg, and or somebody else in the got grazed, and then so forth. I mean, we know now that, I mean, at least it's been reported that because their shell casings are recovered, that it came from within the stadium, and there's no other real operative theory that I've heard. Have you heard anything like that? Is that just crazy enough to be possible?
At this point in history, it's hold my beer, so nothing's possible.
All right, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's just a theory that Dan's friend
it's
sent
going. No, it's going
information.
around. This is not from me. This is from CPD actually.
I mean, the reality is we've found weapons inside people's anal cavities. So I mean,
Heyo.
there's crazy places they hide stuff all the time.
Well,
why you would need to hide it to that level to go to a baseball game is beyond me.
Maybe they had it. They left their concealed carry permit at home. Yeah.
Well, they have metal detectors there, and they didn't detect it, or maybe somebody was just asleep at the wheel.
All right, John. More good times, big city living stuff. John Catanzara Jr., president of the Chicago FOP. Thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Have a good morning. Thanks.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
All right, doing it in about 5 minutes, taking Balance of Nature. Why not getting enough fruits and veggies on my own? 31 whole fruits and vegetables. I take 6 capsules a day, 3 fruit, 3 veggies, and voila, you will feel the difference. Some people notice it right away. Others, it takes about a week, but you will definitely get your health back and give your body the best possible fuel so that you'll have more energy and you'll be stronger. 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751, or online at balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
If you're a business owner, imagine getting up to $26,000 per employee. There's still time for business owners to file for the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program.